whistle on today's footy results.
Good afternoon, welcome to Final Score. There is loads going on today, so we're going to crack on straight away. Steve Claridge, Martin Keown and Garth Crooks are watching the games with me, and they are arguing an awful lot, so stand by over the next 45-50 minutes or so. Right, we begin in the Premier League. It's Portsmouth against Hull at Fratton Park. Roger Johnson.
It's Portsmouth 1, Hull City 1, two relegation clubs, one a certainty, the other a contender, and a poor match played in swirling rain. Hull took the lead after hitting an early post. Fagan's 25-yard drive was deflected in off Caleb Folan on his first start since August. Ian Dowie's faith immediately repaid. But Portsmouth drew level deservedly after Hull failed to clear a corner, and Tommy Smith bundled in from a yard. Veteran strikers Carnu and Barmby are both on from the respective benches to try and illuminate a drab afternoon. Portsmouth are shading it, but Hull's desperation for a win is probably more relevant. We've got just under 20 minutes to go, and it's 1-1.
It's Stoke against Spurs, and Ivan Gaskell has goals, a red card, a penalty, and teammates arguing amongst each other to tell you about.
Yes, Dean Whitehead dismissed for Stoke, perhaps unfortunately a second yellow card. Spurs squabbling among themselves and doing a job on Stoke until that point, threatening to run away with it here after sub Ida Gudjohnsen's brilliant finish within 20 seconds of the restart. But Stoke launched the ball, Asu Akoto pushed Kitson, and Etherington gratefully dispatched the penalty. Spurs might just self-destruct here when it was all going so well. Fuller has just blazed one over the bar. It surely was easier to score. It's 1-1.
At the Stadium of Light, it's been all about Darren Bent and Cameron Jerome. Steve Sutton.
Yes, it's Sunderland 2, Birmingham 1. It's been about the two keepers as well, Mark, because they've had a big role to play in this. Darren Bent with Sunderland's opening goals early on in the first half, and then, well, Craig Gordon's produced a string of saves to keep Birmingham at bay, but in the end he couldn't keep out Cameron Jerome's second half strike when he was put clean through, and a beautiful finish into the far corner of the net from him. It's been all Birmingham this second half, but Sunderland still lead 2-1.
There has been a goal at one of the games we were just at Fratton Park. This is a big, big goal in the Premier League season. Roger Johnson.
It's a big goal for Hull City. It's Portsmouth 1, Hull City 2 now. Could they be on their way to their first away win in 12 months? And could Caleb Folan, on his first start since August, restored to the team under new boss Ian Dowie, have just pinched all 3 points for them? It's his second goal of the afternoon. He got a deflection for the first one in the first half. He was just played in with the Portsmouth defence a little bit square and scampered through to beat David James inside the penalty area. I think it may have been a defensive error too, but either way, it's Portsmouth 1, Hull City 2.
August 2008 was the last time Caleb Folan scored in the league. August 2008, he could be Hull's hero this afternoon. Aldershot have gone 2-up this afternoon against playoff-chasing Shrewsbury. Marvin Morgan with that goal. Back to the Premier League, where tempers are getting frayed at the DW Stadium. Richard Ascom's watching Wigan-Burnley.
They are indeed, Mark. Wigan 0, Burnley 0. A lot of tension on show here in a match that certainly for Burnley has a real make-or-break feel about it. Both sides have created chances. Wigan's best, the Gary Caldwell header, deflected onto the woodwork. At the other end, Martin Patterson has just seen a shot smack off the bar as well. But as the game has developed, it's Wigan who've pushed and probed their way into the ascendancy. Burnley still dangerous on the break, but Wigan pressing for the win.
Haven't been any goals at Goodison Park this afternoon, but players are getting clattered all over the place. Damien Johnson.
Yes, it's Everton 0, Bolton 0, as you say, and we've had a red card. As you join me, Greta Steinson pulled down Yakubu, through on goal. The referee, Mr. Wiley, ruled that was a goal-scoring opportunity. And Bolton are down to 10 men. It's tough on them. They've hustled and harried Everton all afternoon, stopped them playing their usual passing game. Determined and well organised. They had the better of the first half, should have had a penalty themselves. Johnny Heitinger handled the ball. Everton lost Anachabi in the first half, stretch it off. They have a chance now, a free kick on the edge of the D, but it's 0-0.
As you can see there's been a double sending off at the Accrington Stanley Rochdale game. It is 2-2 in that game. Michael Symes and Chris O'Grady are the side's top scorers, respectively. They've obviously had to scrap amongst each other. They're both off. Jeff Goulding has gone for second place Bournemouth at Grimsby as well. Jeff Goulding sent off for Bournemouth. The early game in the Premier League was Aston Villa against Wolves. Steve Bauer watched this one. Talk about one of the games going on at the moment, Martin. If Caleb Folan is proved to be the match winner for Hull, that's inspired management from Ian Dowie. I can see the papers writing it tomorrow already.
Well, this is it, and I think Ian Dowie usually wins his first game wherever he goes. After that, he's had a difficult time. But today, I mean, to be honest, the first half, they both looked like they were candidates to go down, both teams. Very poor match. But it's about winning, it's about scrapping for a result, and they're certainly doing that today.
There has been a goal at Goodison Park. Who's got it? Damien Johnson.
It's gone to Everton. It was that free kick won by Yakubu, the Steinson sending off. And Arteta, as he's so often done for Everton, beautifully curled it over the wall and into the net. Everton lead 1-0.
Twice there, haven't they been, Steve? The red card, which resulted in the free kick, and then Mikel, that's a beautiful free kick.
Yeah, I mean, we're all looking on the sofa and trying to make a case for Steinson not going off because it looks so harsh. But, you know, the rules are that if he gets the wrong side of you and you make any sort of contact and bring him down, which he does with Yakubu, then you've got to go. And Yakubu, in all honesty, would have been clean through from the free kick. I mean, it's perfect material for Arteta. Up, over, 20 yards out, over the wall.
But I've got to say, and while he has got that decision right, I've no doubt about it, but Cahill is a very, very lucky boy to still be on that pitch. Booked once and 2 other misdemeanours. And there's a goal at Stoke.
I don't really need to say anything now. He's done my job for me, Ivan Gaskell.
2-1 to Spurs and a trademark goal from Tottenham. Super work from Asu Akoto. Whatever you say about him, he's had a big part to play in this game. His cross, Johnson's dummy, Cranchar far post, absolutely buried it. Spurs ahead again, and on the balance of play, frankly, deservedly so.
Now, just before we went to that goal, you were going to have a rant about.
That's why he's not a manager.
And say he should have been taken off.
Well,
but there was a reason why you wanted that.
Akoto and Kluka are standing in the last third of the pitch, arguing amongst themselves. Actually, in fact, they're pushing and shoving each other. They're separated by Fuller, who's had his own problems in that regard, ironically. But they both stay on the pitch. I thought at that stage it was a good idea to get Akoto off because he seemed to have lost it. That was proven. The point was proven because Akoto goes and gives the penalty away. Stoke equalise, but it's Akoto who's actually involved in what appears now to be Tottenham's winner.
Which is why you're sat next to me and not on the Tottenham bench. Torquay 2, Lincoln City 3. Chris Zabrowski has brought the home side back into that one. The first half of the day came at the Hawthorns. Mark Bishop, the second half hasn't been as good, though.
It hasn't been as good, but it's been just as exciting, Mark. West Bromwich Albion 3, Preston North End 2. Easy to see why Roberto Di Matteo's side have banged in no less than 76 league goals this season so far, more than any other championship side. The talk of the Black Country tonight will still be that fantastic free kick from Graham Dorrans from all of 25 yards to put Brom into a 3-1 lead. Preston have rallied, they've played well, but my goodness me, how Andy Lonergan, the Preston goalkeeper, has kept Preston in this match. We've seen terrific efforts from Tamas, Watson, Meite and Zuvaloon. Good saves from Lonergan. It's been a splendid second half so far. West Bromwich Albion still lead by 3-2.
And what a terrific effort for Ricky Lambert as well. A hat-trick today, 30 for the season. Southampton lead MK Dons by 3-0. And Graham Turner back in charge of Hereford at the moment. Jake Jervis has put them 2-0 up on Peter Taylor's Bradford. At the City Ground this afternoon, Nottingham Forest are entertaining the bottom side in the Championship, Peterborough, who had a dreadful time trying to get to the ground. Andrew James is watching this one.
Yes, it's Forest 1, Peterborough 0. Dreadful start to the day for Forest, Mark. The coach driver didn't turn up on time because of traffic problems, and then Earnshaw scored his 13th of the season to put Forest 1 up. Since then, Peterborough have been strong. Zakuani with an effort, so too Ruben Reid. And although the coach driver may be fearing redundancy, Peterborough's time in the Championship isn't all over yet. Forest 1, Peterborough 0.
You may have seen it just go through on the video printer a few moments ago. Antonio German equalised for QPR against Swansea. He's come up through their youth system. David Garrido can tell us about the goal.
Yes, absolutely. The substitute managing to pounce from close range after Swansea failed to clear a corner. That for Rangers equaliser after Nathan Dyer opened the scoring for Swansea, clipping the ball past keeper Carla Kimi after a lofted pass from the skillful recalled Guillaume Bowser hit the back of Matt Hill's head. Slightly freakish, to be honest. Dyer also striking a post in the first half. Neil Warnock has been giving the assistant referee on this near side a real ear bashing, but his side are now level. QPR 1, Swansea 1.
There's a surprise. Doncaster against Sheffield United at the Keepmoat. John Rawling.
Well, much at stake here, as you know, and Doncaster leading through James Hayter's 4th-minute goal. Hayter came close on a couple of occasions in that first half. John Oster as well, as Doncaster dominated. Sheffield United 7 straight defeats away before this, have revved it up since the interval, but not much to show for it. Still trailing 1-0.
Now, Chris O'Grady, he's Rochdale's top scorer this season, which is some effort in itself. That's his 20th goal. It's even more of an effort to score after you've been sent off. But we'll find out who was sent off when it wasn't him. But they lead Accrington Stanley by 3 goals to 2. Back to the Championship. Scunthorpe against Plymouth. Mark Webber.
In this relegation dogfight, Scunthorpe have had the demeanour of a nervous puppy for most of the game, excitedly running a lot but wobbling away from the ball near the post. When Plymouth took the lead against the run of play with a scrappy Jamie Mackey tap-in, head sank. But the Iron Will brought a similarly scrappy equaliser through Gary Thompson. That was minutes later. Then they became top dog when Martin Wolford's deflected shot hit the net. Scunthorpe are now more bow wow wow than nervous puppy. 2-1 to them.
Jason Taylor was in fact the man sent off for Rochdale, who've come from 2 down at Accrington to lead by 3 goals to 2. The early game in the SPL was an Edinburgh derby. Alison Walker reports on Hearts against Hibs.
This derby burst into life in the 23rd minute as Suso Santana's cross found Andy Driver and he slammed it home for Hearts. Then 3 minutes later, Gary Glenn added a second for Hearts with a header from close range. Hearts always looked more of a goal-scoring threat, but just couldn't add to the tally. And you wondered whether they might rue the missed chances as Hibs pulled one back through Derek Riordan in 78 minutes. But 2 was enough, and the Hearts manager, Jim Jeffries, enjoying a win in his first derby in charge in almost a decade. But more importantly for him and for Hearts, the 3 points. Hearts 2, Hibs 1.
6th against 4th in League 2 this afternoon, and 6th are leading 4th thanks to Joshua Walker's 80th minute goal for Rotherham. We'll go back to the SPL now. Rangers aren't in action this weekend because they're in the League Cup final against St Mirren tomorrow, so Celtic can close the gap at the top to 10 points. Brian McLaughlin is watching them against St Johnstone.
They lead St Johnstone by 2 goals to 0, far more convincing than the scoreline suggests. 18-year-old Josh Thompson with his first for the club after 16 minutes. Then 3 separate occasions Graham Smith and Saints goal denied Robbie Keane, but there was nothing he could do when an online Spurs striker fired home from the spot after Fortuny had been brought down. Aidan McGeady has also just hit the post for Celtic. They're cruising this now. 9 minutes left for play. Celtic 2, St Johnstone 0.
The bottom side in the SPL are Falkirk. They're at Hamilton this afternoon, and Ian Turner's been watching an exciting game.
Yeah, it's been a good second half anyway. 4 minutes left, 2-2. A bit of a curious egg of a game, I suppose. Good in parts, good for the Bairns, certainly when Scott Arfield gave them an undeserved lead in the first half, but the bulk of the action was confined to a 10-minute period. At the start of the second half, Antoine Courier heading Aki's level, and then Mensing's penalty putting them in front, only for Ryan Flynn, the former Liverpool trainee, to equalise. It's anyone's game now with 3.5 minutes remaining. 2-2.
Swindon against Norwich in League One. You'd have been expecting goals from this fixture, but Hamish Marshall, you've only had the one.
Just the one, and it's Swindon 0, Norwich 1. The visitors are on course to go 10 points clear at the top of League One. Grant Holt's header separates the sides. That's his 28th of the season and extends his scoring run to 4 successive games. His strike partner Chris Martins also clipped the bar with a free kick, and Stephen Elliott has headed over from close range. Swindon will wonder what might have been had Darren Ward converted their best chance, but his shot was saved when it was 0-0.
Second place Leeds play 5th place Millwall on Monday, so can 3rd place Charlton take advantage of that. They're facing Gillingham this afternoon. Andy Barwell.
Well, it's 2-2, a highly competitive and enjoyable game. Charlton leading this match after Fraser Richardson's 25-yard shot skidded past the keeper. Gillingham, though, level 2 minutes later. A sweetly timed effort from Andy Barcham, and Dennis Ollie was there to take advantage of a mistake by Rob Elliott in the Charlton goal. A fine turn and shot, though, from David Mooney in the second half has levelled it up. Gillingham on the back foot, but they've just brought on their top scorer, Simeon Jackson, who's been on the substitutes bench. It's Charlton 2, Gillingham 2.
Second bottom against second top in League Two. James Mason is at Grimsby, Bournemouth.
Grimsby 2, Bournemouth 2, a full-blooded encounter, Mark, in which Grimsby have twice taken their lead to their credit. Jamie Devitt opened the scoring before Lee Bradbury header equalised for Bournemouth. A Michael Coulson header in the second half put the Mariners back in front, only for goalkeeper Nick Colgan to gift the visitors an equaliser when he allowed Liam Feeney's tame effort to squirm past him. Bournemouth substitute Jeff Golding has since seen red for a high elbow, and it's Grimsby Town 2, Bournemouth 2.
Burnley are closing in on their first away clean sheet in the league this season, but they're needing Brian Jensen to help them do that. Richard Askham.
They are, Mark. Yes, Jensen is Wigan just firing a corner, which is partially dealt with by the Burnley defence. A shot on the turn. A fantastic save from Brian Jensen, the second in succession. That one from Figueroa, the one before that, he turned a Jason Scotland drive away. He's keeping Burnley in this one. Wigan now on the offensive and on the attack, but no goals.
And Portsmouth are on the offensive and on the attack as well. They're knocking at the door, aren't they, Roger Johnson?
They are. 3.5 minutes to go. Danny Webber's just fizzed one over the Hull City crossbar, but it's all too little too late for them anyway. Even 3 points today, as we well know, would not, in all probability, help to keep them up. Hull City, the travelling supporters here just holding on and biting their fingernails. Portsmouth have got a free kick just outside the Hull City penalty area now. They've brought on all three substitutes as well. Webber, one of the subs, so too Carnu, and the Greek international Bassinas. Hull just desperately hoping to hang on for a first away win in 12 months.
Danny Green's second of the afternoon means Dagenham and Redbridge now lead Macclesfield by 3-1. They were a goal down at half-time. We are going to go to the Stadium of Light, where there has been a fourth goal of the afternoon. Sunderland were 2-1 up on Birmingham. Have they increased their lead? Steve Sutton.
Yes, they have. It's Sunderland 3, Birmingham 1, and it looks as if it was Kieran Richardson who slid the ball into the net for Sunderland's third. We were into the nervous last 5 minutes where Sunderland have a habit of conceding. You could feel the tension, but Richardson has certainly broken that. Sunderland 3, Birmingham 1.
Oh dear, if you are a Hull fan. Roger Johnson is at Fratton Park.
Heartbreak for Hull. Portsmouth 2, Hull City 2. Jamie O'Hara, who will not be playing in all probability at this club next season if they're in the Championship, has just whipped in an exquisite left foot free kick direct from that spot situation that I was telling you about moments ago, just outside the Hull City box. Hit it unerringly past the wall, past Boas Myhill, and right as a dagger to Hull City hearts. 2-2 with 90 seconds plus stoppage time to play.
90 minutes then, plus 90 seconds plus stoppage time. Steve, what a free kick from Jamie O'Hara.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a couple now, haven't we? They were, to be fair, they had, what was it, two or three free kicks just before that.
They're in again.
They're in again. Bullard, actually.
Oh, and again, Canoe scored.
Third. Oh my goodness me! There has been a third goal for Portsmouth at Fratton Park. Roger Johnson.
It really is heartbreak for Hull City now. Carnu has scored Portsmouth's third, their second in the space of 2 minutes. A mistake allowed Nadir Belhadj to scamper away down the left-hand side. The Algerian showed a clean pair of heels, pulled it back from the byline, and Carnu tapped it in from close range, with Hull players flinging themselves desperately to try and keep the ball out. Heartbreak for them. Their heads are down, Hull City. Portsmouth, in all probability, as we already know, are going down. Hull could be joining them, or at least taking a step closer to it after this. 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes. They've seen a 2-1 lead slip to a 3-2 deficit.
There's been a late goal at Doncaster as well. How crucial could this Sheffield United equaliser be in the race for the playoffs? John Rawling.
Well, it could be absolutely vital. The goals come in the 88th minute. James Hayter's low drive deflected past Sullivan. You have to feel for Sullivan. He's been good this afternoon, but he had no chance. Harper's low drive deflected past him after James Hayter had put Doncaster ahead in the first half. James Harper, the equaliser, 1-1.
There's been a late goal as well at Adams Park. Wickham against Exeter. Steve Lee.
Yes, it's now Wycombe 2, Exeter 2 in this relegation scrap, and Exeter have got out of jail in the very last moment. Sub Richard Logan put through. He was played onside by the Wycombe defence. He stuck the ball past the Wycombe keeper, Tom Heaton. 2-2.
And it's definitely all over at Celtic Park. There's been another goal, Brian McLaughlin.
Yeah, still 2 minutes to go. It's now Celtic 3, St Johnstone nil. Georgios Samaras, his 13th goal this season. Terrific play through the legs of Gary Everton and then round goalkeeper Graham Smith and into the back of the net. Celtic 3, St Johnstone nil.
This is an astonishing end to some of the games in the Premier League. Match of the day, 10:30 tonight on BBC One. Well worth watching. Stoke are pressing at the Britannia. Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, pretty extraordinary stuff, Stoke, as you might imagine, in a last-ditch bid to get something from this game. Abdoulaye Faye has just sort of staggered as if being shot by some sort of air pistol in the desert. He just staggered down to the ground as the ball was presented to him in the heart of the Spurs defence, but he couldn't reach it. Stumbled and desperate, Spurs cleared the danger. They're hanging on here, Spurs. They should have finished this off some time ago. They haven't, and they still lead by that narrow, slender 2-1.
Paul Hart's going to be furious with his Crystal Palace team. They were 2 up at half-time. It was 2-1. John Anderson can tell us about another goal.
Yes, it's 2-2. Ben Burgess, the Blackpool substitute, looks as if he scrambled a point for his side, and scrambled is the right word. The ball played into the box. Nobody from the Palace side could clear it, and Burgess eventually hacked it in with his left foot. That after Palace had gone 2-0 up in the first half with an early goal by Carl and then another by Ambrose. Ian Holloway's team talk brought about instant dividends. Charlie Adam making it 2-1, and Burgess looks as if he's claimed a point for Blackpool. It's 2-2.
Craig Gordon has just made an astonishing save for Sunderland against Birmingham. But Charlton fans and Leeds fans, listen up. Norwich were a goal up at Swindon. There's been a second goal. Hamish Marshall.
It's 1-1. Swindon have got the equaliser, and their captain, Gordon Greer, has got it. He headed home from a corner after Swindon probably deservedly have got themselves on term. 2 great saves in a minute from Fraser Forster in the Norwich goal, but he couldn't keep out Greer's header. It's 1-1 deep in stoppage time.
Burnley have been going for their first clean sheet away from home in the league this season. They were going for it. They aren't going to get it. Richard Askham.
They are going to get it. I'm afraid they have just conceded, and Wigan, a terrific goal as well it was. Victor Moses taking on a couple of players down the right-hand side, crossing for the unmarked Hugo Rodallega, who nodded it into the top corner of the net and past the despairing dive of Brian Jensen. A crucial goal for Wigan and a crucial one conceded for Burnley. It's Wigan 1, Burnley 0.
Martin, you saw that goal?
Wow, this is a precious goal from Rodallega. Great cross, and he gets on the end of it. I mean, fantastic goal. But it almost as if Wigan realised in those last 10 minutes, we're better than Burnley. We ought to be winning this game, and they stepped up a gear, and now they're in front. This would be great 3 points for them.
OK, there is another late goal and another big goal, but we're going into League 2 for this one. James Mason at Grimsby Bournemouth.
Unbelievable, Mark. With 4 minutes left to play, that's added time, should I say. Grimsby have scored, not equalised. I'm getting that carried away. Ashley Chambers has scored from about 4 yards out to give Grimsby some hope of staying in the division. Grimsby Town 3, Bournemouth 2.
And I think it's all over at Goodison Park, where there's been a second goal for Damian Johnson.
In the words of Kenneth Wilsonholme, should I say, it is now. It's Stephen Pienaar who's put the game beyond Bolton. It's all Everton deserved. It's been all Everton the last few minutes. The ball broke to Pienaar, his effort from about 7 yards out. Jääskeläinen, no chance. It's 2-0.
There hasn't been a duffer in the Premier League this afternoon. They have all been truly fantastic games. The final whistle has gone at the Stadium of Light. 2 for Darren Bent as Sunderland beat Birmingham 3-1. Steve Sutton.
Yes, a breathless 90 minutes, Mark. A great game. Darren Bent with Sunderland's opening goals in the opening 10 minutes. Great quality strikes. Craig Gordon producing a string of fine saves to keep Birmingham out, but he couldn't keep out Cameron Jerome on the hour. That was 2-1. He kept out Stephen Carr and then Ferdinand a little bit further on, and Darren Bent almost made it 3-1 before Fraser Campbell slid the ball into the net right at the end. Then virtually at the death, a fantastic save again from Gordon off Craig Gardner that kept the game at 3-1 to Sunderland.
Darren Bent then, Garth, 21 goals out, 20 in the league this season. He's going to be knocking on the England door.
Correct. What more can you say?
But where is he in the pecking order?
Well, he said only a few weeks ago he thought he was probably 5th or 6th. I think if he continues with the injuries, he could be 3rd or 4th. He's had an outstanding season. I think he deserves
Should not be judged on the friendly in Brazil, Garth.
No, absolutely right.
Indication
absolutely
is
right.
You may have just seen going through the
points. Spurs winners 2-1.
Bit of a shock for Colchester as they go for the playoffs in League One. Darren Byfield's got a late equaliser for Walsall. The Wigan players are celebrating. They left it late to beat Burnley. Richard Askham.
They did indeed, Mark. Wigan 1, Burnley 0. A cruel blow for Burnley, a terrific victory for Wigan. The away side had chances through Nugent and Patterson, but couldn't take them. And as the game wore on...
Ruined Ian Dowie's first game as Hull's football management consultant. Roger Johnson.
It finished Portsmouth 3, Hull City 2. Heartbreak for Hull, who seemed set for a first away win in 12 months and 3 invaluable points in Ian Dowie's first match in charge. But 2 goals from Portsmouth in the space of as many minutes turned defeat into victory in this most unhappy of seasons for them. They've long since been written off at the bottom, but if they are doomed, they're also defiant. Caleb Folan got both Hull's goals either side of Tommy Smith's for Pompey. His first goals for 18 months seem to have been decisive, but an O'Hara free kick brought it to 2-2 before Carnew's tap-in delivered a hammer blow to Hull's hopes. It's finished Portsmouth 3, Hull City 2.
Steve, 2 minutes from time, Hull were winning, Burnley were drawing. Now they've both lost. It's not just the defeat, is it? It's the manner of their defeat.
I think as well it's in the context of the opposition they played against as well. If they were going to say, look, we need to get a run going, we need to get some points on the board, these are 2 games that they would certainly have identified. And to lose them ultimately from positions of certainly getting something out of the game will be very, very disappointing. You wonder what they'll come out of this. You wonder exactly what sort of shape they'll be coming out of those 2 games.
I think you'll see on Match of the Day tonight, Mark, turning point in the game. I'm very interested to hear what Ian Dowie has to say when it is the midfield player.
Give us a clue.
Yeah, I'll give you a clue. He's little, he's tricky, he's cheeky cockney chappy.
Jimmy Bullard?
Thank you. When Jimmy Bullard gives the free kick away on the edge of the box, thank you, he's in the screen. I wish you'd done that 5 seconds ago. He gives the free kick at the edge of the box, and it's from the resulting free kick that O'Hara scores, and the rest is history.
I like that. I like how we do quizzes as well in the middle of the round. It's brilliant. The excitement and the goals weren't just confined to the Premier League this afternoon. Mark Bishop saw a belter at the Hawthorns.
Fantastic game, Mark. West Bromwich Albion 3, Preston North End 2. The Championship's top goal scorers continue their march back to the top flight. And the talk across the Black Country this evening will be that man, Graham Dorrans. Superb this afternoon, and his 25-yard pile driver of a free kick will make good viewing on the Football League show, his 16th goal of the season. Preston off to a wretched start. Watson and Brunt with 2 early goals. St Ledger clawed one back for Preston, 2-1. And then that free kick from Dorrans made it 3-1. Mellor's individual effort rounding the goalkeeper Scott Carson just before the break made it 3-2. But it was all Brom in the second half. Terrific saves from Lonergan, and Tamas's header cleared away off the line. In the end, a good win for West Brom. They've gone out winners by 3-2.
Goals and red cards at Goodison as well this afternoon. Damian Johnson saw Everton beat Bolton.
Yeah, Everton 2, 10-man Bolton 0. A brilliant free kick from Mikel Arteta set them on their way to a 7th straight home Premier League win. It was tough on Bolton, whose prodigious work rate kept the home side at bay. They were denied a penalty when Johnny Heitinger handled in the first half. But the game swung on a second-half dismissal of Bolton defender Greta Steinson for pulling down Yakubu when he was through on goal. Arteta's free kick put Everton in front. Stephen Pienaar added a late second. Terrific game.
Thank you very much. Now, the build-up to all the big games starts here on Final Score from 2:30 every Saturday afternoon. All you have to do is press the red button, and then you get every goal as they go in as well. Time now for the classified football results with Tim Gudgin.
In the Barclays Premier League, Arsenal and West Ham United kick off at 5:30. Aston Villa 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. Everton 2, Bolton Wanderers 0. Portsmouth 3, Hull City 2. Stoke City 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Sunderland 3, Birmingham City 1. Wigan Athletic 1, Burnley 0. In the Coca-Cola Championship, Blackpool 2, Crystal Palace 2. Bristol City and Newcastle United kick off at 5:20. Doncaster Rovers 1, Sheffield United 1. Ipswich Town 1, Barnsley 0. Middlesbrough 1, Reading 1. Nottingham Forest 1, Peterborough United 0. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Swansea City 1. Scunthorpe United 2, Plymouth Argyle 1. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Derby County 0. West Bromwich Albion 3, Preston North End 2. Coca-Cola League 1, Charlton Athletic 2, Gillingham 2. Leyton Orient 0, Huddersfield Town 2. Milton Keynes Dons 0, Southampton 3. Oldham Athletic 0, Brighton Hove Albion 2. Southend United 2, Carlisle United 2. Stockport County 0, Brentford 1. Swindon Town 1, Norwich City 1. Walsall 1, Colchester United 0. Wycombe Wanderers 2, Exeter City 2. Yeovil Town 0, Bristol Rovers 3. In League 2, Accrington Stanley 2, Rochdale 4. Aldershot Town 2, Shrewsbury Town 0. Burton Albion 2, Chesterfield 2. Cheltenham Town 1, Port Vale 1. Crewe Alexandra 0, Notts County 1. Dagenham and Redbridge 3, Macclesfield Town 1. Darlington 1, Barnet 2. Grimsby Town 3, AFC Bournemouth 2. Hereford United 2, Bradford City 0. Northampton Town 2, Morecambe 0. Rotherham United 1, Bury 0. Torquay United 2, Lincoln City 3. In the Blue Square Premier, Altrincham 2, Rushton and Diamonds 2. Eastbourne Borough 2, Grays Athletic 2. Ebbsfleet United 1, Luton Town 6. Histon 0, Mansfield Town 5. Kettering Town 0, Forest Green Rovers 2. Wrexham 2, Cambridge United 2. York City and AFC Wimbledon's match postponed. In the Clydesdale Scottish Premier League, Aberdeen 2, Dundee United 2. Celtic 3, St Johnstone 0. Hamilton Academical 2, Falkirk 2. Hearts 2, Hibernian 1. The Ironbrew Scottish Division 1, Airdrie United 3, Dundee 0. Ayr United 3, Queen of the South 0. Greenock Morton 1, Partick Thistle 0. Wraith Rovers 1, Dunfermline Athletic 2. Ross County 0, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 0. In Scottish Div 2, Alloa Athletic 2, Stenhousemuir 1. Brechin City 3, Clyde 1. Cowdenbeath 0, Dumbarton 0. East Fife 0, Stirling Albion 3. Peterhead 3, Arbroath 0. And in Scottish Division 3, Annan Athletic 0, Queen's Park 2. Berwick Rangers 2, Elgin City 1. East Stirlingshire 2, Montrose 3. Forfar Athletic 1, Albion Rovers 1. And Livingston 2, Stranraer 1. In the Welsh Premier, Bangor City 3, Carmarthen Town 2. CPD Portmarnock 2, Welshpool Town 3. Llanelli and Rhyl match postponed. Newtown 3, Prestatyn Town 2. Port Talbot Town 4, Carsous 0. In the Carling Premiership, Dungannon Swifts 0, Cliftonville 2. Institute 1, Glenavon 1. Linfield 1, Ballymena United 0. Lisburn Distillery 2, Crusaders 2. And Newry City 0, Glentoran 3.
The top three in the Premier League are yet to play, so it's as you were at the very top. Manchester United 2 clear of Chelsea. Tottenham strengthened their grip on fourth place after victory at Stoke. They now have a 4-point advantage over Liverpool. Aston Villa lose ground in the race for fourth, having been held at home by Wolves. Portsmouth end a wretched week with victory over Hull. However, their 9-point deduction for going into administration means they're still 14 from safety. Hull and Burnley both beaten after conceding late goals, so they stay 3 points adrift of West Ham, who play Arsenal later this evening. The victory for Wigan lifts them 7 points clear of trouble. Leaders Newcastle in the Championship kick off at Bristol City shortly. Their advantage down to a point by West Brom, who've played 2 games more. Nottingham Forest have pulled 6 clear of Swansea, who drew, while Leicester and Cardiff play tomorrow. At the bottom, Peterborough and Plymouth both lost, while Crystal Palace and Sheffield Wednesday also failed to win. Scunthorpe are out of the relegation zone after beating Argyle. In League One, the leaders Norwich drew at high-flying Swindon. However, they extend their advantage at the top to 8 points because second-place Leeds aren't in action until Monday. Charlton drew at home to Gillingham and now find themselves 4 points off an automatic promotion place. Swindon, Millwall and Colchester complete the playoff picture. Stockport are 13 points from safety at the bottom after losing for a 23rd time this season. Wycombe and Exeter fought out a 2-2 draw and both stay in relegation trouble. Fellow strugglers Southend also drew. At the top of League Two, Rochdale now have an 11-point lead after Bournemouth suffered a shock defeat at Grimsby. Notts County are into the second automatic promotion place while Rotherham move into 4th. Darlington remain hopelessly adrift at the bottom following their 12th home defeat of the season. Grimsby have gained ground on Cheltenham, while Torquay and Macclesfield both lost. In the Blue Square Premier, Stevenage weren't in league action today, but they remain in pole position for promotion to the Football League. Luton are up to second, 2 points off top spot after victory today. The former leaders Oxford play tomorrow. At the bottom, Grays drew with fellow strugglers Eastbourne, but continue to prop up the 23-club table after Chester's records were expunged. Forest Green and Eastbourne complete the relegation picture. And congratulations to both Stevenage and Barrow, who are through to the FA Trophy final after wins in the semi-finals today. In the SPL, with Rangers contesting the Scottish League Cup final tomorrow, Celtic have put a dent in the large points gap between the old firm rivals, but it is only a dent. At the bottom, Falkirk earned a point at Hamilton to move within a victory of St Johnstone, who play Rangers in the Cup. Dundee suffered a surprise defeat at bottom club Airdrie in League One. Their lead is trimmed to 3 points as a result. Airdrie's impressive win sees them close to within 9 points of Morton. In Division 2, Oliver have extended their advantage to 5 over Keown and Beath, who are held to a draw by Dumbarton. Stirling and Brecon both won to stay in title contention. And in Scottish Division 3, Livingston continued their relentless promotion push. They beat Stranraer. They're now 11 clear of spluttering East Stirling, who lost at home to bottom club Montrose. And they move to within 3 of Elgin in the battle to avoid the wooden spoon. They're the tables. Now here are the headlines from the Barclays Premier League and the Coca-Cola Championship.
Portsmouth.
If anyone can, Carnu can. The man who won Portsmouth the FA Cup completes an incredible turnaround for the home side to ruin Ian Dowie's first game in charge of Hull. A wrecking Mikel Arteta and Stephen Pienaar are the Everton heroes as they beat informed Bolton. It's a 7th straight home league win for David Moyes' side. The Sunderland striker Darren Bent sends Fabio Capello another calling card with 2 more goals to take his Premier League tally this season to 20. And in the Championship, the Baggies continue to boing back to the top flight. Graham Dorrans is the match winner against Preston. 19 goals in the 6 Premier League games this season, with Arsenal West Ham to come. So, BBC One match the day at 10:30 to see all of those. And that's followed by the Football League show, 10 to midnight on BBC One. It includes the late game, which is Bristol City against Newcastle United. Live football on the BBC tomorrow. BBC One, both sides going for the playoffs. Leicester against Coventry. The programme begins at 1:45. And Match of the Day 2 tomorrow night, 10 o'clock on BBC Two, including the big one between Manchester United and Liverpool. Plenty of games to discuss after today's matches in the Premier League. We will start at Fratton Park. Portsmouth against Hull. Jonathan Pearce was watching this one for Match of the Day, and this is a crushing blow for Hull, isn't it, Jonathan?
Certainly. I thought if they won here, it would be a springboard for the rest of the season, especially with the new manager, Ian Dowie, coming in. And 17 minutes from time, they led 2-1. 2 goals from Caleb Folan, back in the starting lineup for the first time in 7 months. He'd had his disagreements with Phil Brown, of course. The first he deflected in, the second he took neatly after a lucky bounce off the referee, in fact. Sandwiched, or either side, I should say, of Tommy Smith's first goal for Portsmouth. And they played some neat and attractive football at times, Hull City. Fagan worked very, very hard for them, and he had his defenders defending well until a couple of minutes before the end, and then the sort of individual errors that have cost them all season came back to haunt them again. Jimmy Bullard's foot too high in a challenge. Free kick brilliantly curled in. It was indirect, touched off to O'Hara, and he curled it beyond James. Fantastic. Curled it beyond the Hull City goalkeeper. Fantastic finish. And then another error. Garcia gives the ball away. In goes Belhaj, squares it, and Kanu taps home the winner from about 8 yards out. All Hull's work undone. Ian Dowie has to start again. And Portsmouth just showing, Mark, that the spirit will not die here at this football club.
So, Jonathan, was it the individual errors then? Is that what Ian Dowie's going to have to work on to try and eradicate, or were there other problems for Hull this afternoon?
I thought they did enough for long periods of the game to earn a point. Certainly, it was much improved. There was more discipline in the shape of the team. I thought he had his wide players carrying the ball, his central midfield players industrious and up front. They worked hard, but then those 2 mistakes, and you go back over their entire season, they've got the worst goal difference I think in the entire Premier League, and it's come about because they make too many of these errors. You cannot do it in the Premier League, and they've been punished again.
Jonathan, thanks for your time this afternoon. So Jonathan's commentated on Portsmouth against Hull. Match of the Day tonight, 10:30 on BBC One. A late defeat for them, and it was a late defeat for Burnley as well. Let's get the thoughts of their manager, Brian Laws, who's been talking to Ian Gwyn Hughes.
Brian, that must be a very hard defeat to take.
Well, Wigan will look at it as a real positive because obviously they've won the game in the last seconds of the game, and it's great for them. It's devastating for us because the effort and commitment, the desire that we had today, it showed everybody that we were very much up for this game, and our preparation was excellent. Yet football can be really cruel, but it was really cruel today.
How devastated are the players in the dressing room now?
Well, they've put so much effort in. Of course, they're going to be devastated. But I've also, said to them, if you continue to keep doing that and putting that kind of effort in and that determination, then we will get wins under our belt. And it is a cruel game, but you can't allow it to, take away all the positives, because there was a lot of things that went well today, a lot of good performances. And as I said, I was delighted as a manager. I was very proud of them. And if we continue like that, I think the supporters are going to be very proud of them as well.
It's a thin margin between success and failure. A moment of real quality which led to Martin Patterson's effort, which hit the crossbar. Had that gone in, it would have been so different. But it's a game of ifs, I suppose, isn't it?
Well, it is a game of ifs, and Martin Patterson's hit the crossbar when it was a moment of magic, and then of course Nugent goes through on the keeper, and he's trying to lob it over the keeper, and the keeper pulls the save off, and they've gone right down the other end, and of course they've. They got the goal, but we'll lick our wounds. And I've said to the players, "Come on, this was a magnificent performance by ourselves, and if we continue that and take it into our next game against Blackburn, and what a game we have got ahead of us, it should be an exciting game."
He's talking about effort and commitment, Garth, which is all very well, but it doesn't hide the fact that it's another defeat. They've played more than anybody else around them. And there's a little gap starting to open up between the sides who aren't in the bottom three.
I've seen lots of battling performances by Burnley under Brian Laws. The difficulty is for them is if they let an attacking player, a winger, as was the case today, out of the corner where there's appearing no danger, let him out, he gets into the box, he crosses into the ball, Rodriguez then does the rest and converts. But when you're so close to getting a point and you've worked so hard, all the good work's undone in a moment of madness.
And a moment of madness for Hull as well, in Jimmy Bullard giving away the free kick that allowed Portsmouth to get back into it. And as we said earlier, it's the nature of these two defeats, isn't it, for Burnley and Hull? The lateness of them that will just knock the wind from their side.
Certainly, and Hull just looking today, I mean, Forlon scoring the goals for them today, he looked devastated at the end. There was never a 3-2 match. And, you know, to lose it like they did in the end, Ian Dowie, I mean, he's done a lot of talking this week. He's going to have to do a lot this week to try and lift the spirits of his group. There was work to do at set pieces. They played OK. It was very scrappy. If I'm honest, they both look like candidates to go down after that performance.
And would you agree, Steve, it is the three that are in the bottom three now that are going down? When you see the sides that are above there, they're all managing to pick up points somewhere along the line.
Yeah, I mean, I don't put West Ham in the equation. I watched them last week at Chelsea, and they'll certainly have enough. Wolves, that's a big point. It didn't look like a big point 5 minutes from the end of both the games that we were talking about, because Hull were winning and obviously Burnley were getting something. But no, it's a big point now. Yes, I mean, when you're at this stage and you've got that amount of points, you're averaging sort of much less than a point a game, and all of a sudden there's a gap now of a 4-point gap up until to probably what you will look at as the team that you will try and catch. It's a difficult one to say that they are going to get out.
West Ham play Wolves in the week, don't they? So a massive game for West Ham to get out. Can't see West Ham getting anything tonight against Arsenal.
And we said it was a big point for Wolves, so let's get some reaction from their 2-2 draw at Aston Villa this lunchtime. Steve Bauer's been asking the questions.
How are you feeling after that one?
Well, my heart rate's still pounding, I would say, but pleased with the performance. Disappointed slightly that we've lost 2 points at the end. Villa had some other chances in the first half, but once we settled down, I thought we gave an excellent account of ourselves.
It was a tough game. We played brilliantly in the opening 25 minutes. We were a goal in front, maybe could have been 3 in front at that time. Some of the best football we played in recent weeks was on display there.
Just clear up the first goal, you think Caru's offside?
He is. I'm sure you can analyse it till it comes out your backside tonight, but he's stood in an offside position.
Have you seen them again? You think they're both onside?
You're asking the wrong man at this minute about refereeing decisions and linesman decisions. Have you seen the Carling Cup final? Did you? All right, please don't ask me about refereeing decisions.
Wolves feel the first one was offside. Do you have an opinion on that?
Well, I haven't seen it, but I guess both of them were on the limit. But, you know, the trick is to just be slightly onside, isn't it? And I was just onside, I think, on both of them.
Was that a diplomatic way of saying, yes, he probably was offside? It seemed it, didn't it? Right, so Villa slipped up and Spurs took full advantage at Stoke. Let's get Harry Redknapp's views on their 2-1 win. He's been talking to Guy Mowbray.
Harry, that's a very, very nice 3 points for you at a ground where not many people come away with 3.
No, it's a difficult place to come, and the crowd create a fantastic atmosphere. It really is an intimidating atmosphere, you know, but a good atmosphere, you know, from Stoke's point of view. And it's not easy, and Stoke, you never get an easy game with a Stoke team. They work hard and make it very difficult, and they're a real threat. But, you know, it was an even first half. There was very little in it first half, very few chances, really. And then Ida, you know, took a fantastic goal. It really was a top-quality goal from a top-quality player. I couldn't tell you how impressed I've been with Ida since he's been with us. He's been unlucky, really, not to play, you know. And he came on, Pav got an injury first half, and Ida came on and took that goal fantastic.
Well, he might get a chance now. What's the news on Roman Pavlyuchenko?
Well, he's got a little bit of a hamstring. He's had an injection after the game, but we'll have to see how he is. You know, we genuinely are running out of bodies. I mean, it's just unbelievable, really, but we keep picking up results. You know, we've lost so many players. I went through it today, and I think there's 16 players either injured or out on loan who are big players, first-team players. But whoever's come into the team has done the job. The whole squad's been fantastic.
They've got players dropping like flies, Garth, but they hold that 4th spot at the moment, and they have a little bit of a gap over Liverpool.
Absolute massive win, as you can see there. They're on 55 points, and it was so important. It puts Manchester City right under pressure. They've got to go to Fulham tomorrow. They've got to get something out of that game. A win, great, but at least a point. And Fulham, as we all know, are in great form. So it was massive
to those Tottenham players, the way they were celebrating at the end there. You know, great spirit, great group of players, and all credit to Harry Redknapp for putting that together.
You get the feeling they'll need that little bit of a buffer with the games they've got left as well. They've still got some really tough games on paper.
The top 3, haven't they?
They have
and Manchester City. One of the games of the afternoon in the Championship was at the Hawthorns. Let's take a look at the goals from West Brom against Preston, and your commentator is Tony Gubba.
In by Corran to Miller. Back in first time, it spins free, and it's the opening goal
by Ben Watson. Oh, it was a very fortunate break, and Watson was there to sweep it past Andy Lonergan. The West Brom have won their last 3 championship games, but here they come again. There's no offside. It's 2. The ball was slotted through. Forlorn appeals for offside, but the flag stayed down. Wallace will take the corner. Oh, yes! Sean St. Ledger pulls one back. And he heads that down, and he bounces up into the roof of the net. And they've only put 2 players forward, West Brom, so it would appear that somebody's going to have a strike at goal here. Is it Dorrans? It is Dorrans. Oh, that is just absolutely top quality. Perfectly beyond the goalkeeper's reach. And remember, Andy Lonergan is 6 feet 4 inches tall. Flag has stayed down. Neil Mellor, he's in to challenge Scott Carson. Has he gone too far? No, he hasn't. Well, Preston have pulled one back again. It's West Brom 3, it's Preston 2.
Astonishing game. You can see more action from that match and all the goals from all the matches in the Championship, League 1 and League 2 in the Football League show, 10 to midnight tonight on BBC One. And also don't forget all the news from the clubs wherever you are in the Football League. Late Kickoff has all the stories from your region, Monday 25 to midnight on BBC One. They're the games today. We've got Arsenal, West Ham this evening, which you think they will win?
Well, without doubt, I think Arsenal will do that and then, should go top.
And Manchester United, Liverpool tomorrow. Liverpool have won the last 3 against United. Nemanja Vidic has seen red the last 3 times.
I mean, having said that, the stats are against Liverpool, aren't they? I think Man United have won their last 7 and all to clean sheets. Liverpool haven't scored in 1 in 5 and not scored in their 4 away from home. So it doesn't look good statistically, but Liverpool, Man United, that's the big one for those 2. You wouldn't write Liverpool off.
And Chelsea, Blackburn, you saw Chelsea on Tuesday night. It's a big game for them at Blackburn.
And I thought Chelsea were beaten in every department by a very, very impressive Inter Milan. How did they bounce back against Blackburn is going to be very interesting. And I suppose the big question for Chelsea is 1 trophy between now and the end of the season good enough? I think Chelsea have a good experience at Blackburn. They always win there.
Now, plenty more reaction to today's football. All you've got to do is just press the red button now. We'll hear from Ian Dowie on the red button. Alternatively, if you want the Six Nations, Ireland, Scotland, live on BBC One now. See you next week. Bye.